In fact, you have written about false rape allegations on Return of Kings probably more times than there have ever been actual false rape allegations. It's fucking ridiculous. But anyway, let's check back in with Matt's absolutely fucking spectacular coverage of the Iowa primaries.
I said it's skews mostly young, and the girls are a lot cuter. There was a chick on the on stage, a little the audience members who were allowed on stage, this cute redhead with big tits who kept leading us in like "Feel the Burn" chants.
Wow, that Pulitzer Prize is on its fucking way, I'm sure.
Cucks. These cucks don't realize it. These cucks are still the cucks of just how cucky he is. Still retained his cuck mentality.
Defeated as the non-cuck conservative candidate
is the cuckservative of the week. Getting cucked by an autistic kid. Cuckservative of the week.
The biggest cuck I've ever met in my life.
More like pocket full of cucking cucks. Angry cucks tracked, chased away by an angry cuck. The cuckservative. The Golden Cuck Award.
Cuck.
But anyway, let's move on, shall we? One of the things you'll notice about Matt Forney's work is the just ridiculous casualness with which he'll just introduce some of the most racist shit you've ever heard in your fucking life. I mean, really, really casual about it. Just in the most fucking blasé way possible.
And I was accused of being an agent provocateur. You don't need agent provocateurs because the people here are, by definition, provocateurs. Where's my 40 acres? It's up my ass.
So I decided to start trolling. I started trolling Rick Wilson. I asked him if his favorite butt plug has a Star of David on it.
Anne loves black cock.
Asians in general hold up whiteness as an ideal, and they want to be white.
They got a paddy wagon there already. Please show us your Obama cocksucking face.
It's an extreme example, but the thing is, all multiracial kids have this psychosis to a certain extent. The Holocaust. 6 million Jews supposedly died in the Holocaust, so we have to constantly worship the Jews and smack down any anti-Semitic talk, because the Jews have never, ever done anything wrong and could never have ever have possibly contributed to their supposed depression at any point in their history.
6 million Jews supposedly died in the Holocaust, so,
Yes, he's an evil right-wing Holocaust-denying prick. I do wonder why he gets on so well with Davis Aurini. But the worst of all of it is, I could have put a collection like that together for all sorts of things. Just racism against black people, or just his racism against Jewish people, or his ridiculous kind of talking down to people of Oriental origin, or whatever, He's got this thing about banging Filipinos. Of course, yeah. I could have also done the same thing for his hatred of homosexuals, or his ridiculously backward thinking when it comes to transgender people. He absolutely fucking despises and doesn't understand transgender people. I don't think there's a group that he isn't bigoted against, apart from white straight men. Talking of which, let's check back in with his coverage of the Iowa caucuses.
He was doing his whole "you fired" shtick, from The Apprentice. All in all, it was a pretty interesting experience, I mean, if I could just spend the rest of my time here covering Trump rallies, I'd be happy, because they're the only events I go to that don't leave me feeling. I actually feel invigorated after going to a Trump rally. All of these other politicians make me varying degrees of nauseated, but Trump is just innately likable.
Matt, are you in love with Donald Trump?
And this is this whole rally, doing a rally instead of going to the debate is a masterstroke for Trump. So basically, everything about this rally was a massive success.
Loving you is more than just a dream come true, and everything that I do is out of loving you.
Trump's followers are by far the most passionate political people I've ever seen so far. A lot of politicians have their fans, their followers. Trump has actual admirers. Trump commands affection where other men only get respect. Like the rally had a very sort of rock star like feel to it.
You wanna fuck me like an animal. You like to burn me on the inside.
Basically,
it's halfway between, you know, a political rally and like a rock star, and in many ways, you could arguably say that Trump's going to have groupies. I mean,
Matt, it looks pretty fucking obvious to everyone that he's got at least one groupie already. Now, I poke a bit of fun at him there, mainly because he's a homophobic streak of shit, and I know that if he ever watches this video, that bit will really fucking annoy him, and that makes me fucking erect with anticipation. But aside from all that, my favourite piece of his fucking Trump loving during his coverage, his journalism at the Iowa caucuses, was this bit he mentioned about the diversity in the crowd at one of Donald Trump's rallies.
Trump drew a very diverse crowd. You had a lot of old people there, but you had young people there like me. You had some hipster-looking dudes. You had like dudes in middle age. There was a black guy.
Now you might find it funny already that there's one black guy, but oh what? I'm going to go back to the start of that and then play it on a little bit further because it gets even fucking better.
Trump drew a very diverse crowd. You had a lot of old people there, but you had young people there like me. You had some hipster-looking dudes. You had like dudes in middle age. There was a black guy outside.
That's right. The black guy was outside. Apparently that counts as ethnic diversity at a Donald Trump rally. The idea that there's a black guy outside. Maybe he was hired by Donald Trump in order to try and create an atmosphere of the time that Donald Trump wants to take America back to. Maybe the black guy was employed to act as a shoe shine, to give that really authentic 1950s feel. Or maybe it even got him to pick some cotton to give it that really authentic 1850s feel. I mean, how far does Donald Trump want to take America back? I don't fucking know. Does Donald Trump know? Of course he doesn't. I mean, the Donald Trump presidential bid is a publicity stunt that has gotten way out of fucking hand. But anyway, I'm going to fucking wrap this shit up now whilst I've still got a shred of my sanity left. And there's so much stuff about this fucking utter turd that I barely got to mention, like his hatred of homosexuals, his hatred of trans people, the individual bits of racism he's involved in, because he's basically racist against everyone who isn't exactly like him. I also didn't get to mention his journalism around the Laquan McDonald protests in Chicago, which is where Matt Forney lives. And that's not doxing him, by the way. He's very open about the fact that he lives in Chicago. Following the murder of Laquan McDonald, there was a lot of protests in Chicago, and Matt went and filmed a lot of them. But he's so terrible at journalism that basically it was him on a march filming the backs of the people in front of him. He didn't like interview anybody or try and get a sort of sense of the atmosphere or tell you anything that was going on. It's ridiculous. What was also fantastic was the first one he went to, which he didn't film but told us about, he made into a video entitled something like "I was nearly killed at a Laquan McDonald," at a hashtag Laquan McDonald rally. Which you think, well, that's amazing. Fucking hell, he was nearly killed. What happened to him? Basically, they thought he might have been an undercover police officer. And for probably very good reasons, because A, being a racist prick, he probably didn't react to the black people around him particularly positively, and secondly, as he openly admits, he wasn't actually like chanting along with the stuff. Like, you know, when you go on protests, they've got like chants or little songs and stuff, and he wasn't singing along because, you know, he doesn't agree with the Black Lives Matter people. So he made it very obvious that he wasn't one of them, so why wouldn't they think he was a police officer? But more to the point, what actually happened to him was they said, "Oink oink, I can smell bacon." And that was it. And apparently that counts as nearly getting killed in Matt Forney's world. What the absolute fuck are you talking about, you mental case? I mean, I can perfectly well understand him being, you know, intimidated, because he's around a group of very angry people who are angry at the police, and they think he might be, you know, a part of the police. So that could be quite intimidating and scary. But Matt, here's a point that I really didn't think I'd have to clarify for another adult human being. But people saying words to you does not equal attempted murder. You weren't nearly killed at all, you fucking dickhead. And then some of the further protests he went to, because he went to about 4 or 5 of them, and he filmed the rest of them, and he did the absolutely amazing thing of deciding then to chant along so that he didn't stand out, including my favourite moment of Matt Forney ever was when he chanted this.
Yeah.
Power to the people.
Power to the people.
The alt-right piece of shite, Matt Forney shouting, "Power to the people." It's just amazing. But what sums up the sort of small-minded, pig-headed fucking nonsense of Matt Forney as a person, as a personality, as a technically a human being, although frankly I really don't enjoy admitting that he's part of the same species that I am, but it is true, unfortunately, was when he went to the Black Friday Laquan McDonald protest in the sort of centre of Chicago, I think it was, or certainly around a large shopping area in Chicago. And he went to that one with a woman called Ann Sturzinger, who is just like him, a alt-right fucking dickhead. And she sometimes co-hosts the podcast he does as well. Anyway, and they went to this protest, and again, it's just them saying sort of racist shit whilst filming the backs of the people in front of them, essentially. They don't interview anybody, they don't get anything interesting or important. But the really crazy thing is, they seem so utterly obsessed by the fact that this protest march through, you know, a major built-up fucking city, disrupted the traffic. Now, of course it fucking did. It's a protest march. Why are you expecting them to go single file down the fucking sidewalk on a fucking march that stretches over the course of about fucking 200 miles? No, of course that's what happens. The police shut down a few roads for a few hours. There's a bit of disruption in traffic, but the world fucking continues to turn. It's not the end of the world. But the crux of why he's such a stupid, ridiculous human being is that he went on this march, right, about this incredibly incendiary event, which could be a potential turning point for, you know, race relations in modern America. I mean, the Laquan McDonald case had national and international fucking headlines, right? It was a huge event, potentially, that could transform modern America, and he was interested in the disruption to traffic flow. Like, that's the most spectacularly stupid way you could miss the fucking point, ever. I mean, he really is just such an utterly pointless human being. Fucking hell. So anyway, to wrap up, right, he's a racist on any number of levels. He's a homophobe, he's a transphobe, he's a sexist, he's a misogynist, he's a chauvinist, he's a fucking idiot.
All that I have left to say is, Matt Forney, go fuck yourself.
Rain Man, my friend. Rain Man, again. Rain Man, my friend. Rain Man.